but it's really called football.
Soccer?
The creators called it football.
Soccer?
You know, you play it with your feet,
Reading between the headlines. Soccer?
but it's really called football.
Soccer?
Hello, football fans. Welcome back to Reading Between the Headlines. I'm Asaf Nisim, your host for Peruse the News, the live show where we catch up on the latest Chelsea news together, maybe some world football as well, and of course, we live football and prosper. Now, before we continue, if you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe more importantly, possibly hit the bell to know when we go live. Why? Because we've been going live a lot lately. Jump on the bandwagon because this channel, while still teeny, tiny, small, little channel, oh, I love you, little channel. You're so small. It's getting bigger all the time. I'm telling you, the subscribers are just going up, up, up. We're having more and more fun here. So get in and engage by joining the team on the live stream. You won't regret it. Okay, now into the business, the docket for today. We have, firstly, Chelsea's CEO steps down, the second to depart in less than 2 years at the club. Nobody's talking about that part, so that's important to note. Next, Cole Palmer, among others, omitted from the Conference League roster. You might have seen that bit of news. There are some other players that are also not on the roster. You know, we'll see what happens there. It seems like Maresca is not prioritizing it, understandably. Then we will be looking at the new FIFA Club World Cup format. It's an old competition, but things are changing dramatically, and they've been in the process of changing, and they say it's going to be a lot more exciting. Then 90 Minutes put out a piece explaining why Chelsea scooped Jadon Sancho. Why did we do it? That's a question for a lot of Chelsea fans. We'll see what they've got for us on that note. After that, the Chelsea Chronicle have predicted Chelsea's next 6 fixtures for us. Next 6 fixtures. That is a lot of predicting at this point in the game, but let's see how much we agree with them. Who knows? Lastly, we will have a look at the full list of nominees for the Ballon d'Or with a pleasant surprise for Chelsea supporters if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you can guess what that surprise is if you haven't. And maybe as a bonus after that, if we have any time, we'll stalk some of our favorite Chelsea players' Instagrams together before we close up shop. Okay, now, before we get into the first article, let's take a look at the last live stream's poll results, because I do a poll every one of these live streams, at least one. Last live stream, I asked you fine footballing folks who should deputize at right back while Reece James and Malo Gusto are out, and here is how you answered. There we go. Who should deputize? Well, it looks like 0% chose Axel Disasi. People after my own heart. I've been kind of ripping on Axel Disasi since last season. I just don't understand why managers seem to love him. But Trevoh Chalobah, nope, goodbye. Go play somewhere else. We'll leave it at that. Next, 28% of you said that they would like to see Moises Caicedo step in over at right back. There has been talk of that. He has done it in the past. Mark Cucurella. After that, another 28% of you said we've seen him slide over to the right back position, and, you know, maybe Levi Colwill slips in to left back, and you have, I don't know, Badiashile or Tosin Arabioyo fill in at center back, or, well, there was the option. I should have put Vega there, but I didn't. I guess there's the other right there. The other actually won the poll. So with 42% of you choosing other, maybe that's who I missed. Maybe it should have been Renato. Oh, well, it could have been Cucurella sliding over to the right and then Renato Vega going into the left. But that would you'd probably vote for Mark Cucurella in that case. But I guess you didn't. Maybe there's somebody I missed. I have no idea who you would prefer to have at left back over Cucurella. I'm sorry, right back over those guys. But maybe somebody will tell me on the chat live stream today. Now, for today's poll, we have a good one here. because I'm curious about this. We basically have had, we got Cole Palmer sort of in the center of the forward line, drifting, and of course, Madueke has had a real showing of himself so far this season. So, let me just double check to make sure my audio is on. It should be. But Madueke has basically cemented his, for now, a little light cementing, a little bit of a soft cementing into the right side of the forward line. So the real question is, what's going to happen on the left, right? And so my question for y'all today is, let me copy this here. I have it written down and put it in the poll for you. The question for you today, ladies and gentlemen, and others, I guess, it's a new modern day and age. I don't know what people are thinking. Who will have the biggest impact for Chelsea this season out of these players? And as you noticed, I started talking about the right of the forward line and the middle of the forward line, how that's all cemented in. So the question is, kind of on the left side, who's going to have the biggest impact? The first player will in the poll and first option is João Felix. Will he be the player among these to have the biggest impact on Chelsea this season? Okay. The next would be another maybe more obvious, because he's only played there so far, Pedro Neto. He's looked great, I got to say, whenever he touches the ball. I mean, he's not exactly touching the ball a lot. But will it be Pedro Neto to have the biggest impact for Chelsea this season? Maybe I'll say who will have the biggest impact for Chelsea this season out of these choices. Okay, we'll say that. Who out of these players? Who of these players will have the biggest impact for Chelsea this season? Okay. So Pedro Neto, number 2. Number 3, we're talking a new face that hasn't even gotten to the roster yet, and that is Jadon Sancho. Will he be the guy? I mean, he's kind of a toss-up now. Nobody knows. Nobody's seen him play for a while, so the question is, will he be that guy? And 4th, not one of my favorite players, but I'm still hopeful for him. He's a young guy. He's got some quality there. Not a fan favorite, I don't think. Mykhailo Mudryk. Will Mykhailo Mudryk be one of those 4 to have the biggest impact for Chelsea this season? And that's a question. It's a good. We're going to start that poll. Engage. Answer the poll when you get a chance, ladies and gents. Okay. Double check my mic volume. Yep. Looks like it's good. All right. That is out of the way. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Finally, the time to look at, make sure you answer that poll. Now look at the first article of the day, the first headline, the first story. What is going on over there at ESPN? And looky here. Chelsea chief executive Chris Jurasek steps down after 1 year. Now, what they don't say here is that he stepped down after 1 year, but before him, the CEO, I don't know if he was stepped down. I have another article here that we could take a look at. After 10 months, chief executive Chris Jurasek has left Chelsea and will be replaced by Jason Gannon, the Premier League club said on Thursday. Jurasek will return to Clear Lake Capital, the co-controlling owners of Chelsea, after just over a year in the role at the club. Quote, I am incredibly proud to have led this historic football club into its next chapter. Sounds political, Jurasek said. We have accomplished the task of building a team, both on and off the pitch, that means the club is well positioned for long-term success. That sounds like a bunch of political BS. Nobody's feeling perfectly great and optimistic about the long-term success with this squad. During his time as chief executive, Jurasek made several decisions that were met with disapproval by Chelsea's match-going supporters, including referring to them as customers rather than fans. I don't remember that, but definitely doesn't reflect well on him coming from ESPN in this story. He also ended a long-standing bus subsidy for away fans and implemented the first general admission season ticket price increases in over a decade. Yes, people are not going to be happy about that. That is that story. But the interesting part about that is that, as I was just saying, Chris Jurasek just got into just got in after a year ago. But before that, we had this gentleman. This was only May 30th of last year, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? This was the article from the Tribuna. Chelsea appoints Chris Jurasek as new CEO. Tom Glick steps down. Tom Glick, how long was he there? Chelsea have announced the appointment of Chris Jurasek as the new chief executive officer of the club. On being appointed, Jurasek said, "I'm delighted to be joining Chelsea, a club which is loved and followed all over the world. I'm enormously proud to be leading it into the next chapter in its rich history. We have huge opportunities to grow on and off the pitch and to engage our exceptional fans both in London and wherever they are supporting us from. I'm looking forward to working closely with our owners, leadership, and everyone around the club." Todd Bowley and other co-owners said Chris's skill and expertise will help us to drive the club forward in all areas, particularly in supporting our long-term plans for Chelsea. Wasn't very long-term, was it? Let's be honest. Let's not have a very, very short-term memory here, ladies and gentlemen. Jurasek has over 25 years of experience being in leadership roles in top companies around the world. This means Tom Glick, this guy right here that's out, this means Tom Glick has stepped down from his post and will be leaving the club after helping transition Jurasek into the role. Glick was at the club for just 10 months. So maybe the next CEO will be here for, I don't know, what's his name? What was his name again? I already forgot his name. Sannon, something with Annan in it. But maybe he'll be here for just a little longer than a year, and then we'll continue to get better and better at keeping our staff members at the club. That would be nice to show a little bit of stability from the Chelsea faithful or the Chelsea administration. I think definitely stability is a hopeful target, right? Right now, people are concerned, certainly concerned for good reason, that perhaps we're not the most stable club. We aren't exactly run perfectly. There's articles coming out saying that we have a wild transfer policy, which makes perfect sense because nobody knows what the hell is going on. And a lot of people are complaining that the culture of the club is at stake, right? So those are questions that we would like to see answered, and it's going to be hard to answer those questions in a convincing, compelling way if the CEO is changing every 10 months, every 1 year, which we have just seen, unfortunately, with Chris Jurasek stepping down. I'm trying to pull this up. 1 second here. Yeah, I just wanted to... Oh, there it is. I just wanted to check on the name of the new CEO, which they had mentioned, Jason Gannon. Okay, so Jason Gannon will be the new CEO. After Jurasek steps down after a year, and then Glick was only in the position for 10 months. Very discomforting, to say the least. Okay, next on the list, we are already on. We're moving fast today, guys. We're moving fast because the articles are shorter. I read about a 45-minute article yesterday, which was very interesting from ESPN. If you haven't checked that out, the live stream is still posted. And it was an ESPN article about the transfer dealings and about sort of the history of the administration since it changed over, and what's going on, and whatever reports from informants they have within the administration and surrounding the administration. So that was an interesting one. Check that out. It live streamed yesterday. Next up, we are moving on in this to Chelsea omit Cole Palmer from the Conference League squad. I don't think anybody is going to be super upset about this, although we have seen that our team lacks significant depth because we have been playing the B team in the Conference League with 7 to 9 changes in the first 2 legs of the Servette qualifying round. And now we're on to the league portion of the competition, and we had to submit a new roster. There will be another roster submitted later on, I believe, which we'll find out over here. But yeah, so apparently Cole Palmer won't be in it, and other players won't be in it. So it's a concern. Do we want to actually win that competition? Maybe some people don't care. Chelsea have left Cole Palmer out of their squad for the UEFA Conference League, along with center back Wesley Fofana and central midfielder Romeo Lavia. The West London club's 29-man squad for the league phase of UEFA's third tier was announced on Thursday and included the likes of Pedro Neto, Mikhailo Mudryk, and Jadon Sancho. That's good because we do need to get them minutes. A new squad list is submitted for the knockout phase of the Conference League, which begins in February. So, as they said, once the knockout, this is interesting, you submit a new squad list in each phase of the competition. So maybe it'll change once we get to the knockout phase. Maybe Maresca will be a little bit more serious about winning the competition, because at the end of the day, a trophy is a trophy. I will take it. We haven't had a trophy since Bowley, the Bowley and Clear Lake took over. So that is something to note, and I'll take that, And at the moment, our B team looks pretty god awful, and it's scary that, again, what it means for this competition, but what it also means for our squad depth when we can't put out another team to challenge and compete like very strongly and in a compelling manner against Swiss 7th placed side that had just lost 6-0 to Basel in the league in Switzerland. So that is something to note. In the league stage, Chelsea are set to face Ghent, Panathinaikos, Armenia's Noah, early Bundesliga leaders Heidenheim, Astana, and Shamrock Rovers. Those are the fixtures that we're going to see in the first 6 matches of this phase. Palmer played 55 games for club and country last season, only ending the campaign in the July 14th Euro 2024 final against Spain, where he equalized for England before they ultimately came up short. He is set for another long season, as Chelsea are guaranteed a spot in FIFA's revamped Club World Cup, which we will talk about a little bit later, actually right after this. So that will be interesting. Completely different than it used to be. And so that is set to take place in the United States next summer. Chelsea earned entry to the competition via the Champions League triumph in 2021. They have struggled to replicate that form subsequent seasons, finishing 6th under Mauricio Pochettino in 2023-2024 before the Argentinian coach departed. It was looking like it could have been way worse than that. Now, under the stewardship of Enzo Maresca, Chelsea are 11th in the Premier League after 3 games. Okay, so that is that. We say goodbye. Goodbye to you. Little article about Cole Palmer and Fofana and Lavia being left out of this phase of the Conference League. Okay. Now, next on the docket, let's see what's going on over here. Okay. Just checking the poll, how it's going for now, but we will see where it ends up. Okay. So, as promised, we will now take a look at this from Yahoo, detailing how the new Club World Cup format is going to pan out. And the headline is, as you can see over there, New Club World Cup Explained, Format, Teams, and Why It's Controversial. We're moving fast here. Just about 20 minutes in to this show. Okay, the first edition of FIFA's new Club World Cup format will take place at the end of this season from 15th of June until the 13th of July. Plenty of time before that happens. Football's governing body has sought to ramp up interest in a competition that is currently considered little more than a footnote on the European campaign, with the Champions League winners often facing a trip across the globe against vastly undermatched opposition. Although, as they will mention here, the last 11 iterations have been won by Europe's representatives, with Brazilian club Corinthians interrupting the monopoly by beating Chelsea in 2012. Womp, womp, womp. Major, absolute womp. That was very sad. Very sad day for us at Chelsea, even though it wasn't a very serious competition for us, but it would have been another trophy, and we flopped. But things are changing, right? So, I'm just going to move this over. Things are changing in that competition. A little bit of water on my condensation on my mouse trackpad. Things are changing in that competition. It is completely changing. And FIFA is aiming to reignite interest, expanding the 7-team tournament into a controversial 32-team spectacle that will significantly impact competing clubs' time for recovery. Here's everything you need to know. Gee, sounds a lot like, I don't know, a global Super League? Not a European one, but a global Super League? I don't know. It seems that FIFA was really upset about the prospect of that previously. And now this is happening. Okay, what is the new format? The most familiar way to approach the new format is actually pretty simple. FIFA is replicating the World Cup at club level, expanding to 32 teams who will play in 8 groups of 4 before progressing to the knockout round. So 8 groups, 4 teams in each group. The top 2 from each group will qualify for the next round of 16, competing in single match knockouts until a winner is crowned in the final. So not 2 legs. There will be no third place playoff. No 2 legs in the round of 16. Single match knockouts for the top 2 from each of the 8 groups will play for a spot in the quarterfinals, apparently. There will be no third place playoff. Right, we just said that. Clubs from 6 federations will compete, including 12 from Europe. South America will send 6 teams, with 4 each from Asia, Africa, and CONCACAF. North and Central America, Caribbean, that is CONCACAF, if you didn't know. Oceania will enter one side, as will the host nation, which in 2025's case is the United States. Yay, United States! Let's go. We get a is that an additional? I wonder if that will be an additional. Why don't we just ask ChatGPT? So, CONCACAF gets to enter 6 teams. Okay. Let's see. So, if in the new format of the Club World Cup, since CONCACAF gets 6 admissions and the host country gets 1 admission, the host country, which is the the US in the inaugural, which means the first of its kind, the inaugural tournament in this format gets 1 admission. Does that mean that the US could potentially get multiple admissions? Let's see if ChatGPT knows the answer. Yes, in the new format of the FIFA Club World Cup, it is possible for the United States to have multiple admission. Here's how. Okay, well, as a member of 6 admissions from CONCACAF, as a member of CONCACAF US teams that qualify through the CONCACAF Champions League or other qualification pathways, I should have specified, could claim a spot in the tournament. Host country admission, since the host country, the US, is in the inaugural tournament, gets an automatic admission. A U.S.-based club could receive an additional spot solely based on this host nation qualification. This means that if, for example, a U.S. club qualifies through CONCACAF and another or even the same club qualifies as the host, the U.S. could have multiple representations. The specific regulations on whether a single club could fill both spots or if it would pass to another club would depend on FIFA's precise rules for the tournament. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Can you look into those, quote, precise rules? I'm curious. Well, let's see if it says anything. Searching. Thus, if a U.S. team qualifies via the CONCACAF League and another team potentially the same that qualifies via the host nation slot, the U.S. could indeed have more than 1%. However, the exact... Okay, so it's not exactly saying it, but that's nice. That's cute. Okay, we move on in this article. Let's go engage. Okay, so which teams will play in 2025? The majority of the teams for the 2025 edition are already decided, with 2 slots remaining. Oh, well, I guess we could have just looked over here, I suppose. 2 slots remaining. Criteria is, well, we don't know what those 2 slots are. Criteria is based on the period between 2021 and 2024, with continental champions and those who rank highly on the Confederations Club ranking invited to take part. So we'll find out over here if the U.S. actually has multiple... Okay, well, so they already have... So in relation to the question that we just asked ChatGPT, Seattle Sounders already have a place in the tournament. If you're a U.S. fan, Seattle Sounders will be competing in the tournament. And it's Al Ali from Egypt. They won the Central African Champions League in 2021, 22, 23, 23, 24. Again, wow, that's pretty good. A lot of winning. Wydad from Morocco, I guess. That's Morocco, probably. They won the Central African Champions League 21-22. Al Hilal, AFC Champions League. That's Asian Federation Cup, Urawa Red Diamonds, Japan 2022 AFC, Al Ain, Chelsea. Obviously, we won in 2020-2021, the Champions League. Real Madrid, which we will talk about in a second because Real Madrid apparently might be declining their admission into the new Club World Cup. I have an article on that. We'll see if it holds up. Manchester City won, obviously, the Champions League in 22-23. Monterrey from Mexico, 2021 CONCACAF Champions Cup. Seattle Sounders, as we mentioned. So that's 1 spot for the U.S., but they potentially will have another spot. I'm not sure exactly how that team will be chosen, but since the U.S. is hosting the inaugural event, they get another qualifying spot in the league in this competition, this new club formatted Club World Cup competition. Club Leon from Mexico, Pachuca from Mexico, Palmeiras from Brazil, Flamengo from Brazil, and Fluminense, both qualifying for this. Qualified, that was just, as continental champions. Then there's ranking, okay. So, yep. Okay, there's no additional U.S. team via ranking, but you do have a bunch of interesting additions. Bayern Munich, PSG, Inter Milan, Porto, Benfica, Borussia Dortmund, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Salzburg, Auckland City from New Zealand, River Plate, Boca Juniors. They're claiming this is going to be really hot. This is going to be really exciting. I think it actually might. It's definitely going to be more exciting than the Club World Cup that of years past. Here's Dan Stock asking a question. Do you have an article about why? I'm guessing that says why because this heart is why my takes are better than yours. Unfortunately, Daniel. Unfortunately. Great. Unfortunate. Although I did destroy you on the technique, on the technical aspects of players, which you didn't quite understand previously. But I'll accept. If you find me an article, then we'll read it here on the show just for you because you're such a sweetheart and you're such a great troll of the show. There's definitely going to be lots of future photoshopping done to support you in your trollery. Remaining spots to be decided. 2024 CONMEBOL Libertadores winners and 1 team from the host country, as we just said. So the Seattle Sounders are the 1 U.S. team that are qualified already, and we get to have 1 more because we are hosting the inaugural competition in the U.S., which would be great. Did they say where it's going to be in the U.S.? It'll probably be in various places in the U.S. I mean, it has to because this is a lot of games that are going to take place. Right. Let's ask ChatGPT. If it knows what stadiums will host the new FIFA Club World Cup in the U.S. Dan Stock, I just renewed my Photoshop license in August. I'm ready to battle. I like it. I like it. I'm excited for these, honestly. It could only be good for the show. Could only be good for the show. You could send them in and I will feature them. I promise you that. As of now, FIFA has not officially confirmed the stadiums that will host the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. However, it is widely expected that many of the venues selected for the 2026 FIFA World Cup will also be used for this tournament. That's right, because the U.S. is also hosting the World Cup. A lot of fun times for the U.S. It'd be really great to go out and see one of these games. I've never been to a World Cup game, so that would be fantastic. These venues include large world-class stadiums like SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, among others. Be great. MetLife ain't too far. These venues are equipped to handle the scale and requirements of a global event like the Club World Cup. Given the tournament's scale, it is likely to involve several cities across the U.S. mirroring the setup for the 2026 World Cup, though final confirmation of these stadiums is still pending. Okay. Alrighty, that makes perfect sense. Okay, we move on here. Why is it controversial? Well, many clubs already face difficult to navigate schedules, especially in Europe where elite players may have to work through a domestic season that includes multiple national cups, the Champions League, and an international tournament in the same calendar year. There have been a lot of complaining going on about this kind of stuff. While the new Club World Cup format will take place in a year that doesn't feature an international summer tournament, it will mean some players only receive a significant rest period once every 4 years. Come on, you've got huge rosters. They can handle it now. FIFPro, the body that represents professional footballers across the globe, has moved to bring legal action against FIFA. This article is from today. The Professional Footballers Association, PFA, subsequently joined the legal action, with Chief Executive Maheta Malongo speaking strongly on the importance of breaks for players. Everyone across football knows that the fixture calendar is broken to the point that it has now become unworkable, said Malongo. This reminds me of yesterday's stream. We did check out Rui Faria's story, and he had posted a picture of him while he was at Chelsea, and on top there was a caption, a quote, basically saying something about player fitness and how players needed like time for recovery and stuff. Maybe he's referring to the craziness of the new schedules. Quote, there are too many emerging instances across football where the rights of players and the legal implications of decisions by governing bodies and competition organizers are seen as something that can just be ignored. Players are not being listened to, and they want to see action. As their union, we have a duty to intervene and to enforce their legal rights as employees. Ultimately, the time has now come for us to represent these millionaires who are not getting enough rest time. Okay. Premier League CEO Richard Masters also criticized FIFA for failing to consult clubs on the changes, saying players are concerned for their well-being. Come on. You've got massive rosters at every single club. Like, guys, play your B team then. If you don't, I mean, it's better to play your B team. Well, to be fair, there are a lot of costs associated with even traveling to these competitions, bringing all your players, security, etc., etc., etc. But the feedback we have from players is that there is too much football being played. If you pour more liquid into the cup that's already full, it will overflow, said Masters, reported by The Athletic. Dan Stock says, another bad Asaf take. All right, well, I'm glad you're here to point it out to everybody, Daniel. There have also been questions, it should say, raised about how the tournament will handle contracts due to expire during the Club World Cup. Many player contracts in Europe run to 30 June, right in the middle of the tournament, potentially causing problems for those who become free agents. Disruption from the transfer market is also likely, though FIFA has made clear that players will be unable to represent two clubs in the competition. Like I say, play your B team or guess don't do it. And having said that, clubs have a choice. Do you want to engage in this competition? Okay, engage in the competition. If you don't want to engage in the competition, then don't engage in the competition, which is why a club like Real Madrid back in June of this year had weighed in, at least Carlo Ancelotti weighed in to ESPN on this. He says, well, the headline is, as you can see over here, Real Madrid to reject Club World Cup place, Carlo Ancelotti. So, reject it, fine. And here we go. Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti said the club will refuse to take part in the first edition of FIFA's new Club World Cup tournament next summer, citing a lack of financial incentive. It's not even about the players necessarily. The expanded competition is set to take place in the United States in June and July 2025, featuring 32 teams. We already talked about all that. Dan Stock, they are clearly playing far too many matches. Of course, clubs want to engage in the competition if it cushions their bottom line. Well, apparently it doesn't necessarily cushion Real Madrid's bottom line, and that's why they might not engage in the competition. And so, I would say, I think, having the Club World Cup be better and more interesting and is a good thing, generally, I would say. I mean, which is why I wasn't totally opposed to the Super League. All right, hate, but whatever. So there's all these competitions, and this is just another one that might be very interesting. And the point is like, if that's a problem, if you really have a problem as players, and look, they have the union will make their case. They're apparently they're threatening legal action if they haven't already submitted their legal actions. But point is maybe we'll start seeing if the schedule is really too packed and players are really concerned about this, maybe we'll start seeing contracts that include a limit to the number of games that players can play in a certain period of time. And maybe that's just the direction it has to go in. I certainly don't think this is my apparently hot take according to Daniel Stock. I don't think it's any reason to get angry at FIFA for upgrading the Club World Cup competition to something that's actually watchable, right? I think it's just like, okay, everything needs to evolve. Maybe the union needs to protect them and pursue legal action. We'll find out what actually happens, but I think generally this is probably good that it's actually watchable and not some crap competition that Chelsea has to fly across the globe to participate in to face a worse team and then lose in 2012, which was terrible. I don't know if any of you were old enough to be cognizant and watching that, but I was, because I'm an old man. And yeah, it was not fun, and it was difficult, certainly, and not worth it. Okay, so they talk about the expanded competition. We just talked about it, how it's 32 teams. It's going to be World Cup style, 32 teams, top two in 8 groups, and the top two, 8 groups of 4, right? And then the top 2 from each group will advance to the round of 16. The round of 16 is not a 2-leg round of 16. It is a single match elimination round. Dan Stock says, I don't think a single person cares about the club. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, look at these names. I mean, we just talked about the names. Let's look back at them again real quick. Yeah. So the names of these clubs, I mean, there's some, stinkers in here, but you never know. Like, on the day, it's 11 men, and it's a tournament. Anybody can go through. But Chelsea, Real Madrid, who, as we were just reading, might not actually participate. Chelsea, Real Madrid, Manchester City. Monterrey's a pretty damn good team. 3 top Brazilian teams: Palmeiras, Flamengo, Fluminense, Bayern Munich, PSG, Inter Milan, Porto, Benfica, Borussia Dortmund, Juventus, Atletico Madrid. And then it's interesting to have River Plate and Boca Juniors in there as well, the top Argentinian teams. Okay, it's a good Mexican team. Whatever. Dude, they're just like a top Mexican team. They obviously won the 2021 CONCACAF Champions Cup. So something, but all there's okay, forget Monterrey, Daniel, for a second. But the rest of those teams, there's a lot of top teams. Okay. There's a lot of top teams in there. I mean, that have qualified. That's interesting. At least I think it's potentially interesting. So Right. So, okay, so here we go. Back to the ESPN article about Real Madrid. This came out, right, again, just in June. In an interview with Italian newspaper Il Giornale, sì, ma Il Giornale, on Monday, or lunedì in Italian, Ancelotti said Madrid, along with other unnamed clubs, were not planning to take part. Okay, so maybe some clubs will not take part, and and the competition won't be great. Players and clubs won't participate in that tournament, Ancelotti said. One single Real Madrid game is worth 20 million euros. I did not know that. That is a lot of money for one single game, but apparently that is what it is worth, 20 million euros. And FIFA want to give us that amount for the entire competition. Negative. Just like us, other clubs will refuse the invitation. Okay, then they talk about the revamped FIFA Club World Cup is the flagship initiative for the world's footballing governing body as they look to replicate the success of club competitions such as the Champions League and the Copa Libertadores. The new format first announced in 2022, set to include 12 teams from UEFA. We already talked about this. Okay, speaking last month. Okay, so Gianni Infantino, obviously FIFA president, has come under a lot of fire about this. He says FIFA is organizing around 1% of the games of the top clubs in the world, Infantino said. When it comes to the national teams, it is very similar. If you look at all the national team games around the world, we still have between 1% and 2% of the matches which are organized by FIFA. All other matches, 98% to 99%, are organized by other organizations. Okay. Back to Dan Stock. Does your wife watch these and sees Gabe and I? That's why there has been no barbecue at your place. Dude, we can't have all these inside jokes, all right? It's too much, too inside. We need to be outside. Outside jokes, Daniel. I've been promising, well, I haven't been promising a barbecue. I said like one time maybe that we would do a barbecue at my place with some of the pickup soccer guys, football guys that I play with, and a couple of them have been giving me crap. One of them is Daniel Stock, this gentleman over here. He told Il Giornale that he had not given up hope of convincing Toni Kroos to change his mind on retirement. Okay, well, that's Ancelotti, and this is old, so yeah, that's not going to happen. That's about that. I think that's it for that competition, for that story. Now, this was some crap. Okay, and then actually FIFA recently, yesterday, I don't know if you noticed this, but it was out on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. They had released the new logo and the sound, the music associated with the FIFA Club World Cup with the new format, and they were just getting trolled on Twitter, like maybe other little Daniel Stocks out there just trolling them. And so let's pull that up right here. I've got it. Let's go. I like the music. I like the logo too, I'm not gonna lie. It looks pretty dope. But FIFA are trying really hard to be relevant more often than every 4 years. There are all the teams swirling. That's pretty cool. Nah. I mean, I don't know. That seems pretty cool. And so let's see what the comments are for Daniel Stock. Some of the hate. Nobody wants this. It's the club version of the Nations League, and it's awful, except that it's not. And here's somebody that does want it, somebody that supports River Plate. I like the hate comments, so Daniel Stock will get a kick out of this, that's for sure. Fantastico. Forever FIFA. Nice logo. See, some people like the logo. I like the logo. I'm digging it. I guess not too much hate so far. The time has come, football. Yes, people like it. See? I'm not seeing. Okay. No Liverpool, no Manchester United, no Arsenal, no AC Milan, no Barcelona, and most importantly, no Newcastle United. Bit underwhelming. Yeah, since they didn't get Newcastle United, it's a bit underwhelming, isn't it? Daniel Stock, marketing intern, trying the hardest to hype a terrible competition. You think they just got all their marketing interns on Twitter like, we better hype this. No. You're talking about the. Oh no, that's not just a marketing intern. That was some decent animating right there. That's not just a marketing intern. That is somebody getting paid some serious money to put those animations together. Not that it's impossible to do or the most complicated, but that's not just some marketing intern doing it. Unless it is, maybe it is. Let me know if it's some marketing intern, FIFA. But yeah, it's real. According to Jake Buckley over here, 71.3 thousand followers. To him, no Newcastle United. Daniel Stock, you took that far too seriously. Yeah, well, I got to take things seriously here. I'm taking you seriously, Daniel. You're the only one commenting in the chat right now, so I got to take you seriously, man. You've got a captive audience here, bro. Yeah, so he wants to see Newcastle United, bit underwhelming. There's plenty of great teams in there. Who the hell cares about these teams, honestly? I mean, I don't give a crap. There's plenty of good teams in there. Although if Real Madrid doesn't show up and several other big names don't show up, it will be underwhelming. But maybe they're saying these things for a reason. Maybe FIFA will take that into consideration and be like, okay, we gotta up the ante. We gotta increase the rewards, the financial rewards for this competition. And Daniel, you son of a bitch. Yeah, Monterrey, they did win the 2021 CONCACAF Champions Cup, so pretty decent. But yeah, they'll show up. It's going to be like they're not even going to have to travel very far. So yeah, certainly Monterrey will show up. Yeah, okay. Mohammed says, hello FIFA, could you please let us know when the host cities for the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup in the United States will be announced? We're eager to plan our bookings early to attend the tournament. Thank you. You see, people want to attend the tournament, and I just checked with ChatGPT. They didn't have them, but as they said, and as you can see here, probably going to be Los Angeles, New Jersey, and Atlanta, among others. So there's that. Go back over here for that. Over here. Okay. Now, moving on. Okay, I think that's enough. I think people are into it, especially South Americans, because they really get a say here. Who's notifying? What am I notifying? Ooh, another follower. Great. I haven't been using this Twitter that much, but lately I've been using it quite a lot. So on the show, so that's fun. Okay, but let's move on. There is, I think we'll put that FIFA Club World Cup behind us and move on to the rest of the show. Yeah, it's about time. Okay, this one coming from 90 Minutes. I'm not very hopeful about them being able to explain to us, but let's find out. They say why Chelsea made late decision to sign Jadon Sancho from Man United. I'll tell you what, it's certainly a question many of us want answers to, right? I mean, it just seemed like a panic buy at the end of an unsuccessful transfer window where we really just needed to see a striker come in, and did not happen. We got dragged along on that chain by Victor Osimhen and potentially Ivan Toney, but we all knew, looking at the wage structure that was expected out of Osimhen's camp, that it was not going to happen, okay? Chelsea, higher up, have been looking for lower wages, longer contracts, younger players, and even with the few contracts that are of higher wages, they're not in the area of what he was making at even Napoli, which was 300,000 euros a week, Victor Osimhen. Okay, so I don't see why they even dragged that along. That was never going to happen the way I see it. It's pretty embarrassing, and we might have been able to pull something else off. But that is that. So now we will look at this article again. Why Chelsea made the late decision to sign Jadon Sancho from Man United. This is from 90 Minutes. Dan Stock, another comment. Did you see San Marino won its first competitive match today? No. Who did they beat? Let's look at that. That's a nice little... Let's check that out real quick. Okay, so see, these are the scores for today. Portugal beating Croatia. Oh, that must have been a decent game. Who played that game? Was it competitive? Okay, so people were crapping on the Nations League, but to be fair, look at these lineups here. People actually care about this. You've got Ronaldo, Leao, Neto, Fernandez, Silva, all the best. Dalot, Diaz. You've got all the best players for Portugal and the best players for Croatia too. Kramaric, Modric, Kovacic, Guardiola. So people actually care. But let's go back to see San Marino. Congrats to them. Who did they beat? Liechtenstein. Okay, they beat Liechtenstein. I don't think Liechtenstein's ever won a competitive match, but that's still impressive for San Marino. Good for them. They got a goal. Nico Sensoli. Congrats. Big mazel. All right. Thank you for letting us know about that. We got Slovakia beating Estonia. Who scored for Slovakia? Thomas Suslov, who played. Just curious. Just a little aside. Why not? Why not? Nobody I know. Duda. Skriniar and Dubravka. The Serbian team, the Slovakian team becoming less recognizable. Not that it was very recognizable, but Bulgaria, okay. Northern Ireland beats Luxembourg. All right. That's interesting. Why not? Okay, let's go back, though. No, I'm saying that I know. Of course I know who Leao is. Yeah, you have been talking about him. That's fair. That's fair. Daniel Stock says, I've been talking about Leao for multiple years. Do you finally know who he is? Yes, but couldn't even tell you where he plays. Where does Leao play? Play for like Benfica or something? AC Milan. What has he got this year? 1 goal in 3 matches. 1 goal, 1 assist in 3 matches. 2 started. Okay. His career. Where's his career? Doesn't want to show his career. There it is. AC Milan. Before that, Lille in 2019. But I guess that's a pretty good return for a winger. 250. Oh, you're not seeing all of this. 215 matches, 59 goals in 250 matches. So what do you think, Daniel Stock? You think Leao is going to leave AC Milan and go somewhere a little bit more relevant these days? Or what? As far as I am concerned, AC Milan is not the most... I'm sorry if you're like Italian AC Milan fan, but not the most relevant these days. Okay, moving on. Still waiting on Daniel Stock to tell me whether he thinks he will go anywhere. But let's get back to that Jadon Sancho article because I'm curious what this guy has to say. Why did Chelsea purchase Jadon Sancho? Let's see if this guy answers the call, and we'll get back to Daniel Stock. Oh, before we continue here, if you're in here, why don't I give you my marketing pitch? Like, subscribe to the channel, most importantly, possibly hit the bell to the channel, right? I'm not exactly a bell hitter, but in general, but if a channel goes live, which we have been going live here, and by we, I mean just this guy over here, me, been going live a lot, 2-3 times a week, perusing the news. It's been fun. I'd love to see you guys here. So subscribe while the channel is still tiny, still small, still growing, but soon it will grow and grow and grow. And it is growing. It is always growing. Okay. And it's getting more and more fun. So come join the team on the live stream, right? That rhymes. Some of my things rhyme, and it's just a natural thing, I guess. I should have been a rapper, but I'm not. So I'm not a rapper. Okay. Back to this article, now that marketing pitch has been made. Interest in Sancho only emerged late in the summer transfer window when it became clear Chelsea wanted to offload Raheem Sterling, with head coach Enzo Maresca looking for another versatile left-sided winger forward. Yeah, because we really needed another left-sided winger. We really needed that. Daniel Stock, I'm sure he'll move on. He's immensely talented and physical. I hope he doesn't end up at like PSG or an annoying club like that. Barca would be cool. Okay. Yeah, that would be cool. Barca would be good. PSG, I could see it happening, to be honest, and you probably could too. But yeah, that said, we read that. Back to Sancho. With that brief in mind, co-director of recruitment and talent Joe Shields began looking closely at Sancho. Shields is widely credited for unearthing Sancho during his time at Manchester City and presented data from the winger's time with Borussia Dortmund as evidence that Sancho could excel in the right system. United had been seeking £40 million to sell Sancho, but ended up lowering that asking price, which only further increased Chelsea's desire to strike a deal. A loan with an obligatory purchase clause was agreed at between £20 million and £25 million, with the figure to be determined by Chelsea's final league standing at the end of the season. For the clause to be triggered, Chelsea must finish at worst 14th, and the higher they place, the more United get. Gee, I have to say, that's the reason, really? That's the reason you end up signing Jadon Sancho? I mean, why would that be the reason to sign Jadon Sancho? And then you're subsidizing Arsenal's acquiring of Raheem Sterling, paying literally $10 million, more than half of his wages for Raheem Sterling, one of the best out-and-out wingers in the Premier League. I get it. Daniel Stock will probably say hot take. Yes, he hasn't been in great form, but what other 29, 30-year-old in his prime who has played for all the best clubs and at the highest level and shown when he's in form to play almost as good as anybody else in the winger position? Yeah. What other player has that ability and those credits to their name? And meanwhile, we go ahead and pay more than half of his wages to go play at Arsenal, a rival London club. The guy was tragic last season. I don't know about if he was tragic, but okay, he was not at his best, but he had moments where he was pulling the team forward. Let's be real. But literally we're paying more than half of his wages to go play at Arsenal so that we could be delighted to bring in. I'm not knocking Jadon Sancho. Maybe Jadon Sancho will be better for us than Sterling. Maybe he has a little bit more guile and trickiness in his game. Maybe he's a little more complete. No, I wouldn't even say that, though. I wouldn't say that. But he has a little something else maybe that Sterling doesn't have. And maybe he's a little hungrier. He's definitely younger. He's got plenty of experience, although not a ton of Premier League experience like Raheem Sterling has. But still, like, we're hyped to go. The whole situation annoys me. The fact that we are paying more than half of Raheem Sterling's wages to play at a rival club, and then we pick up Jadon Sancho and let Manchester United off the hook. Like, part of Jadon Sancho being at United is that they're still paying his wages and he doesn't want to play for them, and he's like basically toxic to their entire environment. So it's like we relieve them of their stress of Jadon Sancho with an obligation to buy for, although to be fair, 20 to 25 million pounds for a player of Sancho's caliber is and age, the whole portfolio of him as a player is kind of great. There's no question that we'll be able to sell him for that or more depending on how he does this season. So it's kind of almost like a possibly appreciating asset with Jadon Sancho. If we play him and he does well, he's still going to be super young by the end of the season. And if we don't want to keep him, we could sell him for way more than we'll be buying him from Manchester United, which is between 20 and 25 million pounds. But still, we're paying 10 million pounds for Raheem Sterling to play at Arsenal. Come on, tell me this isn't annoying. And you get the feeling that he's going to perform. At least I do. He's going to perform for Arteta. He's going to help. He's going to upgrade Arsenal just that little bit. Give them that extra bit of experience in that area of the pitch. But whatever. Okay. Sources have confirmed to 90 Minutes that Chelsea were delighted with those finances. So delighted, confident that Sancho will either justify the expense and be a huge success at Stamford Bridge, or ultimately be sold on for a similar fee if things do not work out at some point further down the line. Yeah, sure. I agree. I agree on those things, but we really had United by the balls on that one. Sancho also took a pay cut to seal a move to Stamford Bridge, and is on lower salary than Sterling, who made a loan move, of which we're paying more than half of his wages. So Arsenal is paying like less than 175,000 a week for Sterling, probably around 150,000 a week for Sterling. Made the loan move of his own to Arsenal on deadline day, aiding Chelsea's quest to lower their wage bill. Just curious. Take a look over here. Just look at Jadon Sancho. What was he making at United wages? Take a look at Capology over there, see if they have that for us. Okay. Okay, so they actually have the Chelsea wages here, £100,000 a week. So, I mean, between him and Raheem Sterling, we're probably paying almost £300,000 a week for this situation. But the fact that he's, again, I actually separate apart from the Sterling debacle, which is really a debacle, and it just sickens me a little bit, paying for him to play at Arsenal, like more than Arsenal are playing. That just sucks. But £100,000 a week wages for Jadon Sancho is low. And contrary to popular belief, actually, as we read yesterday on the stream, Chelsea has among the lowest, I wouldn't say among the lowest, but lower than average wage a week. Like Chelsea's average wage is £60,000 a week versus the average wage in the Premier League per week is £72,000. Okay, so we're well 12,000 below the average player wage in the league. Yeah, so that's something to say. The business side of things appealed. Let me put this back in. Right. The business side of things appealed to Chelsea's decision makers, while on the pitch, Maresca was also impressed. The new boss likes wingers who can attack their defenders out wide and also finish like strikers in the box. And the belief is that Sancho can offer a valuable contribution to the team. Maybe Maresca doesn't like that Sterling's finishing isn't the greatest all the time. While Chelsea may appear to have an excess of left wingers on paper, as you can see in the poll over here, if you haven't answered that poll, throw your opinion into it, because I'm looking. There's a lot of left wingers, and we're seeing what happens. They do not see it as such. Maresca's system requires versatility, and although Pedro Neto and Joao Felix may appear natural fits for the left-sided role, the feeling is that each of Chelsea's wingers will be required to help on both sides of the pitch, across the campaign, and even in a central role. Neto relishes playing on the right, and Felix's preferred position is a central one. I kind of prefer him centrally as well. Sancho was presented to fans ahead of the 1-1 draw with Crystal Palace and will train with Maresca during the international break. We have seen those videos. He could make his debut for Chelsea in the trip to Bournemouth on September 14th. So not exactly giving us all the behind-the-scenes information on why Sancho was picked up, why that decision was made. But yes, it does seem like a good financial decision. It doesn't seem like something that we could lose too much having pulled the trigger on, because again, he's 24, he's on £100,000 a week. That's like, yes, 40,000 above our average players, but we have an average player, a very low average player weekly wage as relative to the league. So yeah, it seems like good business, but the Sterling one, again, I will mention, seems like bad business. Okay, so that's that. We will leave that article behind. And one more reminder for now. Dan's probably going to hit me on this, but there's some people in here that aren't you. Well, I'm talking to you over here, but you're over here. Yeah, actually, we're going to move on. We're going to move on. It's going to give my marketing pitch again, but we will skip that for now. Just make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't thus far. Okay, so the next thing on the docket that we're looking to do is to check out what they have for us at the Chelsea Chronicle. They apparently are predicting our next 6 fixtures. And so why don't we see what they have to say? As you can see, Chelsea predicting Chelsea's next 6 fixtures before the October international break. Woof! October international break. Okay. More international breaks. You get an international break, and you get an international break, and you get an international break. Everybody gets an international break. Daniel, you're getting smart, my friend. And guess what? Guess who agrees with me? Daniel Stock says, I still can't believe we loaned out Chalobah. He's got so much quality, and we are short on experienced defenders. I imagine you meant to put a D there. Always missing the D. Always missing the D, Daniel. But yeah, guess who agrees with me on that? Gary mother effing Neville. All right? You know, everybody looks to Gary Neville for his opinions, and apparently he has said that Chalobah is a big miss for Maresca. Sending out Chalobah, what do we got now? Disasi? Badiashile? Okay? Come on. Come on. Tosin Arabioyo? Come on. Come on, buddy. I hope you're not being sarcastic right now. I hope you're serious. Anyway, back to the Chelsea Chronicle having predicted the next 6 matches. Chelsea have had a mixed start to the 2024-2025 campaign as they adapt to life under new head coach Enzo Maresca. The Blues have 4 points from 3 games in the Premier League so far. Plus, they narrowly edged past Servette in a playoff tie to reach the Conference League group stages. I could guess it. I could guess that you're being sarcastic, Daniel. ESPN claims that Maresca has been challenged to finish the Premier League's top 4. A soft target, as said, soft target for Maresca by the club. So let's hope he can build some momentum when club football returns after the September internationals. We've predicted Chelsea's next 6 matches up until the next international break in October. Here we go. Look at this. Maresca looking super serious. Super serious. Another one of Daniel's favorite players right here. Enzo Fernandez. The 2 Enzos. Arm in arm. The captain, Enzo Fernandez. Getting ready with his little Gatorade. Okay. Bournemouth versus Chelsea on September 14th. This looks like a decent fixture as the first one back from the break, particularly because Chelsea have won 3 of their last 4 meetings with Bournemouth. I don't know if you watched that last game, but Bournemouth came from way behind, and I lost money on that. I had Everton bet on them as the underdog, and I was very pleased when Everton went up 2-0, and then only for Bournemouth to come back and score 2 goals like in the last 5 minutes of the game to win it 3-2. So my pockets suffered, but that's okay. The best we've seen of the Blues so far under Maresca is the emphatic 6-2 win on the road at Wolves. I warned you guys. I said it, and too many people were too excited. Yeah, that was a bit of a fluke. We have a lot of work to do. We have confidence that Chelsea can be a dangerous attacking threat away from home this season when they're able to counterattack teams. As I said also, when they're able to counterattack teams, Chelsea are very much reliant on the counterattack right now. They don't have the ability to break down teams, especially when they're sat in a low block, and we're not finding the space. So, yeah, that will probably be the case with Bournemouth too, and we'll see how we can do. It could be a tight, narrow win for the visitors to get them climbing up the league table, which they currently sit 11th in 1-2 Chelsea. A very conservative prediction from the Chelsea Chronicle. I hope you're right, Chelsea Chronicle. I very much hope you're right. I fear that away from home, especially against Bournemouth, riding their momentum off a great 3-2 clawback win against Everton. I think that was away at Goodison Park as well. That's a little optimistic, but hey, I'm up for it. I'm an optimist more broadly. West Ham versus Chelsea, September 21st, Premier League. Like Chelsea, West Ham are also under new management this term. The Hammers are trying to adapt to life under Julian Lopetegui. Plus, they've got a lot of new signings to gel in their 11. Y'all know Julian Lopetegui famously was manager of Spain, and while he was with Spain at the World Cup, I believe it was, he signed a contract with Real Madrid to manage Real Madrid when he got back, and that didn't last very long, so that didn't seem like the best option, and now he is managing West Ham. I don't know if he made out well there, guys. The Blues ran riot to thrash West Ham 5-0 at home towards the end of last season, which is something we're sure will be mentioned in the team talk for both London sides. We'd be surprised if the game is anything similar this time around, though. In fact, West Ham won the meeting at the London Stadium last season by a 3-1 scoreline. West Ham won, Chelsea won. That's an understandable prediction as well, because let's see what is their form? What does their form look like recently? Just pull that up. West Ham. Right. They lost 3-1 to Man City. We are not Man City. They beat Bournemouth 1-0 and beat Crystal Palace 2-0. Lost 1-2 to Aston Villa. Yeah, West Ham just on form alone. Besides losing to Man City, they were able to do what we weren't able to do against Crystal Palace, and we'll see if we're able to beat Bournemouth. But and I'm hopeful. But yeah, it seems West Ham will be a tough task, unfortunately, and maybe the 1-1 is a fair prediction. Okay, so the next will be Chelsea versus Barrow, who is a League Two side. In the they call it Carabao Cup, maybe we call it the League Cup, or just EFL Cup, right? I guess EFL Cup. Is the FA Cup the League Cup? I don't know. It's hard to keep up with what they're calling, but I think you would call it just the EFL Cup. Anyway, it's a very favorable draw for Chelsea in the third round of the Carabao Cup, where they host League Two club Barrow at Stamford Bridge. It'll be a huge shock if there's not a massive rotation for this midweek domestic cup tie, and I wouldn't be so convinced that our B team will be able to pull it off, honestly. Okay, I don't know what's better, League Two club Barrow or 7th place Servette in Swiss Super League. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. But let's hope that our B team or C team is able to do better than we have seen thus far. The Blues were beaten on penalties by Liverpool in last year's League Cup final. That's a little redundant, isn't it? On penalties. Incidentally, Chris Sutton ripped into Chelsea after losing the EFL Cup final. Okay. Who the hell cares? It should be a routine victory versus Barrow, perhaps with Mark Guiu to have a field day and get his first goals for the club. Chelsea 4, Barrow 0. You hear that, Daniel Stock? You hear that? Guiu is going to have a field day against League Two side Barrow, apparently. According to the Chelsea Chronicle, that is their prediction. And let's hope that our boy Mark Guiu, the 18-year-old Barcelona prospect, gets a little bit of momentum and shows a little bit of his quality against that lower league team. Okay, Chelsea versus Brighton, the September 28th. That would be the next. Scary. It's sad that I'm saying this, but Brighton is nothing to be trifled with. On paper, this may be Chelsea's toughest match in this set of 6 games. Fabian Hurzler, the new Brighton manager, has started superbly this season with 7 points out of 9 in the league. The Seagulls certainly look like a quality outfit after a great summer of recruitment as well. probably mostly players we don't even recognize, but they're still better than us. This should be a really entertaining contest for the neutral. For Chelsea fans, it could be a frustrating, high-scoring draw. Chelsea 2, Brighton 2 is the prediction. Chelsea versus Ghent, October 3rd. Maresca's side begin the Conference League group stages with a home fixture against Belgian side Ghent, and we won't have Cole Palmer, Wesley Fofana, or Romeo Lavia for this because they are not in the roster for this phase, as we talked about early in the stream. It's worth pointing out that playing the Blues will feel like a cup final for most teams in this competition, so expect them to raise their levels, as has been the case thus far. There should still be more than enough quality within the squad to dominate this tournament, even if they decide to make wholesale changes with their team selection. I don't know about that. It hasn't gone well for us lately. Chelsea have confirmed their squad via their official website for the league phase of the Conference League, which excludes first-team stars Cole Palmer, Wesley Fofana, and Romeo Lavia. We've got a feeling Joao Felix could fill his boots in this competition this year. Yeah, that would be good if we could keep going there. Chelsea 3, Ghent 1. The last prediction is against Nottingham Forest. Let's pull up Nottingham Forest here. Just want to pull up their current form. I don't even know. I don't think they're doing great. Could see Callum Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Are they even above us? I think they are above us because they drew Wolves, drew Newcastle, and then had a win, so they must have at least 5 points. They're probably above us on the league table, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, footballing fans. This is the table. God damn it. We're facing 9th placed Nottingham Forest, who are above us. But the Chelsea Chronicle predicts a victory, a slim victory, 1-0. Chelsea and Nottingham Forest have had some tight meetings in the last couple of years, something we're predicting to happen again. At this stage, we've still not got the Blues, keep to record. I get it. They're calling the keeper a keep. We've still not got the Blues keep to record a clean sheet in the league. That is not cool. This may be the fixture that they finally keep a shutout, though. There's the potential in Chelsea's backline to become really formidable, particularly with the center back combination of Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill, but fans will know it'll take some time. Prediction: Chelsea 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Yeah, at least that pairing is better than our Cup 11. We've been talking a lot about our inability to score with our B team, but even worse, way worse than our forward line, than our attacking prowess, is our defensive prowess in the cup ties that we have played thus far. Very bad. Even when we've won, it looks like our midfield is non-existent and our defense is nearly non-existent. Teams that should not even be able to hold a candle to us are cutting through us like butter, like a hot knife through butter. Yeah, so that's that. Those are those predictions from the Chelsea Chronicle for the next 6 fixtures in the league and the cup competitions. Have we gotten any injury update for Gusto/Reese? Last I saw, we didn't get anything new about Gusto, but it looks like neither of them will be available for Bournemouth, which is why in the last stream I was asking I'll pop that up again. Last stream's results, poll results, who should deputize at right back while Gusto and James are out. Apparently other is preferable to Mark Cucurella, Moises Caicedo, and Axel Disasi. Although, you know what I'm going to say, Axel Disasi getting 0% in this vote is certainly a plus for me, because people are recognizing what I recognize, which is that the guy does not belong at Chelsea. Well, let me ask you a question, Daniel. Disasi or Trevoh Chalobah? If you have to choose, who's playing our cup ties between the two of those defenders? But yeah, so I don't know who else people would think would play right back. Maybe left-footed Renato Vega go over and play on the right-hand side. But it seems that the only possible choices that Maresca is going to elect to go with are either Mark Cucurella sliding over to the right and then putting Vega on the left, or Colwill on the left and filling Badiashile, or Tosin Arabioyo in the center back position where Levi Colwill departs to go play left back, or Moises Caicedo, who has done it before, and he definitely has shown to be defensive. I really hope he doesn't play Disasi, man. Well, as I've said before, I prefer Disasi at the right back position than at in a center back position. He's a total liability at center back, and he should not be trusted over there. But yeah, you think he'll play Disasi? He's not going to play Caicedo? Yeah, why would he? I guess why would he play Caicedo there when he has Disasi, and he's been playing Disasi in the Cups? It's not like he hates Disasi like the rest of us. But, yeah, okay, so that's that. People literally went with other. 42% of the votes went to other over Disasi, getting 0%. People preferred Cucurella or Caicedo to Disasi, who, yeah. I mean, if that doesn't say anything, then I don't know what will. But we'll get rid of that. And we'll move on to the next part of today's show. I wanted to have a look at the Ballon d'Or nominees. Definitely some here I don't even recognize. So I guess there's not much to say. I don't see Leao in here. Was Leao mentioned? No. But there's some interesting one. Can't believe Reece is still out. Thought his injury was pretty minor. Dude, Reece that's Dan Stock saying that, if you haven't seen in the chat. But yeah, it's sad, certainly sad. And I'm seeing people talk about Gusto, like people like Real Madrid fans have Gusto in their mouth. I'm seeing that on Twitter. Not happy about that. That's a little bit of an aside, but yeah, it's a wonder who will come back first. I'm gonna say probably Reece James is gonna come back first because. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Let's ask ChatGPT if is Reece James still suspended from playing? Search it up. Nope. He's not still suspended. Does mention his hamstring injury. So that's both Gusto and Reece James on that hamstring situation. Mid-September expected to return according to ChatGPT. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that Reece James is gonna be back before Malo Gusto comes back. And that's a huge boost, to be fair. It's not something I've been thinking about a lot, and also we've seen Reece James come back in the past from this injury, and he tends to be slow starting because I guess he's concerned he's going to irritate the injury. I'm not sure, but we have seen him be a little slow coming back and not really going into full throttle powerhouse Reece James that we've seen in the past. But if you look at this Ballon d'Or list of nominees, who do you notice in there? Who do you notice? It's our boy Cole Palmer. He ain't winning it. But, well, you never know. If he starts to blast off and just drag Chelsea to the top, which, I mean, is a real low possibility, you never know. That could be enough grounds to really get him up there. And the Daniel Stock says, I've heard the vote is strongly swayed towards Vinicius Jr. Honestly, that's not surprising, but I would kind of think it would be Haaland, right? Maybe the reason Haaland isn't so favored is because Man City's just so good, right? Man City is so damn good that it's like, how much is he the reason they're that good? Although, arguably in the game they played against us, he's the one who scored that early goal, and it was basically a great finish by him. And if he hadn't done it, it might have been a totally different game. So, I mean, I don't know. Out of that list, you've got Bellingham. I would almost say Bellingham was the star player for Real Madrid last season. I don't know who Hakan Calhanoglu is. Do you have any idea who this guy is? Who does he even play for? Hakan. Is that how you spell his name? Hakan. For Inter. Okay. So he's playing for Inter. 3 matches, 1 goal. He is a defensive midfielder. You could see over here. Yeah, I don't really know the guy. Do you know the guy? I don't know. Right. Back to that. Obviously, Carvajal. Interesting. He's on it. Diaz, Ruben Diaz. Artem Dovbyk. Don't know him. Phil Foden. Yeah. Grimaldo. Holland. I think it's basically Tony Cruz. Tony Cruz isn't even playing anymore. Bro, you're kidding me? You don't know him? What, Hakan? Talking about the fact that I don't know Hakan? Yeah, I don't watch Seri like that, bro. How long has he even been playing for Inter? I guess 3 years. Yeah, and he played for AC Milan before that. Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, yeah, his stats look really good. Good for him. What, you know him? You really know Hakan like that? This is an interesting one. The fact that Mats Hummels and Ademola Lookman are on this list is real interesting. Real interesting. Emi Martinez makes sense. Definitely makes sense. Would have made a lot more sense the year they won the World Cup with Argentina. Lautaro sort of makes sense. I don't know how you'd make that argument. I don't think, did they win anything? Did he win anything? Oh, I guess he must have. Again, he's if it would have made more sense when they won the World Cup with Argentina. Daniel Stock says yes. Hakan Calhanoglu has been around for many years. He was originally well known for his set piece when he played in Germany. That would be for, what was it? Bayer Leverkusen. I already forgot. I think Leverkusen. Yeah. Most recently, he's had his best seasons with Inter, playing out of his mind. Okay, great. Well, yeah, his numbers look good, obviously, and he went on a free transfer in 2021, as you can see over here, from AC Milan. Comparable numbers to his time at AC Milan. Now it is time at Inter. Good for him. Okay, so he's on the list, but he ain't gonna win. Kylian Mbappe. I mean, he's a great player, but what has he really done? They lost the Euro Cup. Odegaard, arguably very, very instrumental for Arsenal. Maybe the most instrumental for Arsenal. Danny Olmo, Cole Palmer. I think Cole Palmer, depending on how it is voted, it's voted for. But Cole Palmer has if Chelsea wins something, the way things have been going, there's a real good argument for Cole Palmer, right? Because he basically dragged us all the way through last season, and we're terrible. Yeah, he's not going to win it. Lautaro's not going to win it. But how he's the dark horse when you've got Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., you could really argue Nico Williams or Lamine Yamal even more. I mean, I don't think Lautaro, did Inter win the season? I guess they probably won. I don't even know. Yeah, well, did they win last season? Yeah, so they won last season. So I guess you can argue for the Inter boys, but I think the World Cup's a little more compelling. Oh, they did win Copa America. It's a good point, Daniel. It's a good point. Good point. And, of course, so you've got a bunch of Argentinians on the list for good reason. Emi Martinez as well. Depends on who was more instrumental. Was it Martinez or Emi? I mean, but also Emi is not playing at club level. He's playing for Aston Villa. Depends on Villa. To be fair, like the work he's done for Aston Villa is pretty compelling. Although they're not winning the league, but it's a tougher league to win than SETI. It's a higher level than SETI, any way you look at it. Rodri, I think there's a good argument for Rodri too. And he did win the Euro Cup as well. Yeah, I think you're probably. Yeah, maybe all this stuff takes away from Haaland, because as good as Haaland is, people like Rodri, people who won things internationally, are gonna have a lot more weight in their direction, right? For winning this thing, but it is a popularity contest at the end of the day. But Vinny ain't won anything. What did Brazil win? Brazil didn't win anything, did they? Yeah. I'm going to say, if I had to choose just looking at the list, probably go with Rodri. And I didn't even look at him that that closely when I first saw the list. I was too focused on Haaland and Jude Bellingham, honestly. But yeah, I would probably have to say Rodri is one more. He's also very instrumental for both teams, Spain and Manchester City. I think he has the most compelling argument. Probably the most compelling. Yeah. Probably go with that. Probably go with Rodri, me personally, but it's not up to me. William Saliba. Saliba. Why would Saliba get it? Why would Saliba get it at all? France didn't go. France underachieved, and Arsenal ain't win shit. Oh, actually, that's not true. Arsenal did win some things, didn't they? Didn't they win the FA Cup? But who cares? Who cares about that, right? Okay. That said, before we move on to the Instagram, I'll give you the Instagram some Chelsea players. Why not go ahead and stock some of the comments? Those are always fun. But before we do that, probably my last or second to last marketing pitch of the stream. Please, if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to know when we go live. It rhymes, and I will keep mentioning that it does until I am the most famous rapper on YouTube. So it'll be a while. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, why not go ahead and enlist with us, because we are fast growing. Fast, meaning, moderately fast, but definitely always growing, and we would love to have you in on this conversations. I can't just deal with Dan Stock trolling me the whole time. I need backup, guys. I need backup. Yeah, so please do that. But in the meanwhile, before we shut it down, why not go have a look at what's going on over on Instagram with our boys. See how everybody's doing on international duty. I'm sure they're all posting feverishly, mighty feverishly on Instagram. So here we go. Pedro Neto. Vamos Portugal. A lot of pictures here going on. Yeah, that's right. They did win. They did beat, was it Slovakia? Croatia, 2-1. 2-1. Already forgot. Let's see if he's got anything in his story. Yeah, same old. Then we've got Armando, our boy Armando. I don't want to post too much of the audio because then YouTube hates me and bans my account, which is always fun. He's dabbing up the badge. Look, Fair play, dab up the badge, bro. That's fine. You want to endear yourself to the fans, but bro, does sting a little bit, even though people don't really care about Broya. He is an academy boy, and he does have much promise, in my opinion. Much promise. Temper the much part there. Take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, so seeing him dab up another badge is a little annoying, but it is what it is. Good for him. Getting to Everton when the Ipswich Town move fell through. They almost won that against Bournemouth, as I mentioned earlier. It didn't work out for them. Here's Noni with them boys. It doesn't sting. It doesn't sting you a little bit, Daniel? Doesn't sting a tiny bit when the academy boys go elsewhere and dab up the badge like that? Just a little bit. Tiny, tiny bit. Some people think he would actually be better than Jackson. I'm not saying I'm one of those people, but Jackson, to be fair, you can't really say, as far as the numbers go, can't really say too much about Jackson, right? We've had 3 games in the league and he's got 2 goals. One was a tap in, basically set up by Cole Palmer and even more so Noni Madueke, and the other one was a pretty darn good header, to be fair, right? So, yeah, it's something to note. Jackson's actually not doing terribly as far as the stats are concerned. Sterling. Nobody cares, bro. Somebody has gassed that Raheem Sterling's a gunner. Jeez.
Who you though?
Raheem.
What does everyone else call you though?
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, and what team do sports show me your top?
Arsenal.
And who plays for Arsenal now?
See, that stings a little bit more. Not gonna lie. All right, I'm not watching these, Raheem. Not watching them. That was cute, though, wasn't it? Okay. All right, Home Depot. You know me too well. Tony Rudiger. Doesn't sting you, Daniel, but it stings some of us that care. Renato Vega. Good for him. Tammy. Our boy Tammy. Probably Daniel Stock doesn't give a crap about Tammy, but I still have love for Tammy. Honestly, Tammy would have been decent to have back. Tammy, I would have taken him. Sanchez, David Washington. Oh, did he close? Oh no, that's Brazil not senior squad. Wonder how he did. Joao. Wait, was that Renato? I think Renato did make the senior squad. Okay, this is some ad. Matson playing for the U21 Dutch squad. Okay. Some people are really bummed about Matson, actually. Some people really thought Matson was going to be something.
The world knows football, but they don't know your football. It's how you wear your colors, your passion, your pride. It's how you roar the name of your club. It's hearts beating as one. It's family. It's home. It's time suspended in belief. On the greatest stage in history. A new era of club football, where 32 teams face off, and
FIFA Club World
is
Cup.
crowned
They're
world
playing it. I
champion.
guess Chelsea are into
So
it.
bring your dedication, your love, your heart, and show the world what your club is made of. FIFA Club World Cup. Take
Chelsea's
it to
posting
the
it.
world.
Looks like Chelsea's into it. 20 million euros is what we get for it. Vote Cole for August Premier League Player of the Month award. Conference League squad confirmed. Yep, we know. We know. We're not visiting. Thiago Silva, our boy. Juan going to Sydney, if you haven't seen it. Juan Mata. That like his whole career? Yeah, we're not going to go through Juan's. But good for Juan. Moving on, retiring in Australia. All right. Come on. I love that they posted him with a Chelsea kit. Definitely definitely used to like Juan Mata. Dan probably doesn't even know. He probably wasn't even a fan of Chelsea when Mata played for us, but they put him in the United kit as well. Blah, boo, hiss. Okay, now this is a guy that we're talking about now. Playing for the Brazilian. I didn't even see him called up to the senior squad. Esteval was called up for the senior squad? Yeah, yesterday's stream we talked about Esteval, but we also talked about Kendry Paez, who is two 17-year-olds that we at Chelsea bought, and two very promising left-footed wingers, basically, that we're going to get next year. So a lot is going to have to happen between now and then. We're going to be super loaded up. They're both really promising, especially Esteval, Willian, but who knows what's going to happen? I mean, geez, it's really a crowded roster by this time next year. They're both going to hit 18, and they're both going to be coming to Chelsea, and they're both playing for their national teams already at 17 years old. Wild. And so I think Esteval plays for Fluminense or Flamengo right now. Ooh, I should know this. Palmeiras. My bad. Palmeiras in Brazil. And Paez plays for top team in Ecuador, Internacional, I believe. Just was talking about this yesterday. It's Kendry. Yeah, Independiente, and nobody knows them anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, two very young wonder kids that we're going to be picking up. Apparently, according to ESPN, we got lucky. It's not our great transfer policy or scouting. It's just complete luck of the draw, as was Cole Palmer, apparently, according to them. But yeah, it's nice to see them boys. Esteval chopping it up with the Brazilian national team, all those stars. Mark Guiu, Chelsea training, clearly not playing for Spain at 18 yet, but Jona Gallagher still playing, our boy, always our boy, forever our boy, playing for the England squad. Back with them boys, the Lions. Oh, geez. Sad times. Although JT always supporting the less fortunate. Look at that. Haha, Rami. Oh my God. Is Ramirez here? No, he's just posting his boys. Yeah, not interesting. This is him playing for Cruzeiro. Wow, it's been a long time, man. Been a long time.
Introducing
the international
Ramirez,
break always feels like a nice time. It means
Chelsea.
you can.
Manager of the month, yeah, I think. No, Maresca's not nominated. Arne Slot, Fabian for Brighton, Pep Guardiola. Goal of the month, Cole Palmer. Which one is his goal of the month? I don't know. And then David Raya, save of the month. None of our boys. Cucurella looking fabulous. Going back to the Spanish national team. Callum Hudson-Odoi. We will be playing against him soon. Well, in 6 games. Looking good, bruv. Looking good. Okay. What is this? Caicedo. Playing for Ecuador. Definitely playing with Kendry Paez. Wonder if he'll show him. totally gonna get pegged for that. Alright, gonna get pegged for that. Well, it was good. Oh, there's that's what I was talking about earlier. So, Rui Faria, if you don't know who he is, often an assistant coach with Jose Mourinho. Mind pieces in an era of numbers. Controlling the load is used to manage players' performance and availabilities. For the numbers enthusiasts, perhaps the next data set should control the efficiency of the data that controls player load and relate the results to player availability. Would be good to know how effectively the load is controlled. People definitely hopping on that players are playing too many games train narrative going on. So there you go. All right. I think that's about it. We're going to shut it down in terms of this stream. It's been real good. It's been real rich, real good. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Again, one last time, I'll say before we close it out, if you didn't get a chance to yet and you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe because I want to see you in the future. Hit the bell if you care to see when we're going live. This channel has been a lot about the live, about going live lately. I will get back to producing some more shorts and some more long form content, hopefully, but I need to build up the channel a little bit more before I can invest just a little bit more time into it and make it make sense. But having said that, I want to just thank you guys for coming by. Thank you, Daniel, for being so engaged. Even though you troll me, even though you hate, I know you love deep, very deep inside. And I just appreciate you coming by and appreciate everybody else that has stopped by. So I want to thank you again one last time. Come back next time. Hope you did that, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I hope you guys live football. Well, let me say this and look at the screen when I say it. I hope you all live football and prosper. Peace.
Soccer?
But it's really called football.
Soccer?
The creators called it football.
Soccer?
You know, you play it with your feet.
Reading between the headlines. Soccer?